Welcome to one of the most chaotic weeks in British politics, as Boris Johnson prepares to appear in front of the Privileges Committee to defend himself against the Labour Party's attempt to technically impeach him. We also have Rishi Sunak's new Brexit deal vote this week, and DUP in Northern Ireland have now officially changed their position. Until yesterday, when we reported on this channel, DUP basically said, we're not happy with the deal, but we're probably going to abstain rather than vote for or against this bill. Well, the Windsor framework has become so controversial that DUP just now decided to change their mind and go with conviction and announce that they will be voting against Rishi Sunak's Brexit deal. Yes, so we had Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, who is the leader of DUP right now, said, our party officers unanimously agreed that in the context of our ongoing concerns and the need to see further progress secured whilst continuing to seek clarification, change and reworking, that our members of parliament would vote against the draft statutory instrument on Wednesday. So their main position hasn't actually changed, which is the only reason we're against it is because we want it to be reworked. We want it to be changed. We want a better solution. They're not just saying no for the sake of rejecting things. And so that's still on the table, but I think they had a meeting and realized, well, abstention is not going to send a strong message. It's probably best to actually say we are voting against it to, for now, delay the whole process and then go forward. And as we reported on the channel yesterday, I believe, it's also not really helpful for Rishi Sunak that the European Union, both the European Parliament and the Commission, they got together and added a new empowering mechanism for the EU to be able to punish us in case we don't implement the new Northern Ireland Protocol or Windsor Framework properly. It's basically going to create that distraction, which is, well, you told us that we are friends and allies and partners and you don't still trust us, so you basically are ready to put barriers on us. And this is the whole problem. There's no good faith from the EU side. We already know this. Let's go to the statement, because Donaldson said, last week, I indicated that while significant progress had been secured in the Windsor framework across a number of areas, it does not deal with some of the fundamental problems at the heart of our current difficulties. It is our party view that there remain key areas of concern which require further clarification, reworking and change, as well as seeing further legal text. There is no doubt that it is vital that the Northern Ireland Assembly must have at its disposal democratic mechanisms that are effective in law and which underscore the role of the locally elected representatives of the people of Northern Ireland to determine whether amended or new laws are implemented, notwithstanding the issues and conditions which have to be met to make the break work. It remains the case that the break or the Stormont break is not designed for and therefore cannot apply to the EU law which is already in place and for which no consent has been given for its application. So this whole issue goes back to the Stormont break, which is on paper the EU and Rishi Sunak said Northern Ireland do have essentially veto powers or some sort of scrutiny powers when it comes to the EU laws. But when you look at the text carefully, you realize it doesn't really apply to everything. And it doesn't really give full power to Northern Ireland, or the executive or the assembly. This is the problem that DUP have. Whilst they're representing real progress, the break does not deal with the fundamental issue, which is the imposition of EU law by the protocol. Since the announcement that the Stormont break is to be debated and voted upon in Parliament on Wednesday, there have been a number of indications that this vote will be read as indicative of current positions on the wider Windsor Framework package. Our party officers, the only decision-making mechanism in our party on these matters, met this morning and unanimously agreed that in the context of our ongoing concerns and the need to see further progress secured whilst continuing to seek clarification, change and reworking, that our members of parliament will vote against it, as we said earlier. So basically, they say their concern is the government are going to be having a debate and vote on Wednesday, but they assumed and they expected an actual detailed debate and vote on the Stormont break part of the Windsor Agreement, Windsor Framework. But clearly it's going to be on a wider topic, so to make it vague, So when you debate and vote in Parliament on Wednesday, if you say yes, you've basically said yes to everything. So they're not going to have an ability to be able to scrutinize that aspects of the protocol separately and in detail. That's their concern. So technically, Rishi Sunak and the government do have 2 days left until they sort this out or find a way to reframe the debate and vote on Wednesday. But I do believe that it's a bit too late at this point. So I think they're going to have to lose the vote and to see what they're going to do next. Although there's still enough Conservative MPs technically to get the vote passed. But we'll see. We're going to keep you guys posted on this channel as usual. And on Wednesday, we're going to have a special day and episode where we'll be reporting everything live to you guys throughout the whole day. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.